Hey, how y'all doing out there? I'm back again with another video. Today I'd like to do my battle of the budget phones, volume 3. Now the three phones that are going to be doing battle today is the Poco X3 NFC, the G90 Pro, the Blu G90 Pro, and the Galaxy A51. Now all of these three phones are nice phones. They're different, in a lot of ways, but in some way they're similar. Now keep in mind, the Poco XG and the Blu G90 was released this year, and A51 was released December of last year. So these are the two newer devices. This one is about a year old now, all right? But I thought this was a good comparison because this is Samsung's top selling phone as of now. They're selling more A51s than they are any of their other devices, which I didn't realize that until maybe about a month ago when I was, searching online, and I'm always looking up new stuff, and I was quite shocked when I saw that. So this is Samsung's top selling phone right now, the A51. Excuse me, A51. All right, the first thing I want to talk about is the price. Now with the Poco X3, you're getting 6 gigs of RAM. You're getting 6 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of internal storage for $255. And the 6 gigs of RAM, 128 gig variant for $281. Brand new on eBay or either Amazon. All right? So you got a 64 gig variant and you got a 128 gig variant. So for the 64, $255. For the larger 128, $281. Now with the Blu G90 Pro, 250 brand new on eBay or 220 on Amazon brand new. Only one variant, and that's 64 gigs. With the Galaxy A51, $265 new on Amazon the last time. That's the price I got it for. $250 open box and $220 refurbished. And $128 pre-used or pre-owned. All right, so you're going to get fairly decent prices on all of these devices. Okay, all three you're going to get a really good price. If you're the type of person that don't want to spend a ton of money, this is the devices you want to check out. If you don't want to spend a whole ton of money, because everybody don't have $1,000 to be throwing on a phone that's going to depreciate pretty much a few months after you get it, like a car. All right, next category, let's get into the design. Now all three of these phones have their own design. As you can see, you got the design of the X3. As you can see, you got the cameras in that circle on the back. Not so much, you got the Poco there. Pretty much a ordinary type of design to me. Now with the Blu G90, I love this color, this purple haze. I love it. I just like this design. Now the phone is a little slippery. It is. I'm just being honest. It's a little slippery. You can use it without a case, but it's just a tad bit slippery. But I really like the design of this phone. It's really nice. Then of course you have your A51. Not nothing special about the design really. I mean, it changes colors a little bit without the case. I got a case on it. And you see your cameras there on the back. Now for me, as far as the best design phone, I'm going to give that to the Blu G90 Pro. Now I'm going to put the case back on it only because if I don't, the phone is very slippery and it's hard to hold. So I'm going to put the case back on. It makes it a little easier for me to hold it, and also will not slide off the table. All right, so because I squeezed these two phones in between it just to keep it from moving because the phone is slippery. All right, so next thing, let's talk about the build quality. Now, all three of these have really nice build qualities. Now, with the Poco X3, you got Gorilla Glass on the front, and you got an aluminum frame, which is right here, okay? With the Blu G90 Pro, you got a plastic frame with a glass back. And the reason why you got a glass back is because you're getting wireless charging, okay? No Gorilla Glass on the front. Okay, and the back is not Gorilla Glass either. All right, and you got a plastic frame. But I'll say this, excuse me, It does not feel cheap at all. It really doesn't. I love the design of this phone, and I love the build quality of this phone. Only problem I have is a little slippery. And I love the thickness of it. It's comfortable in the hand. This is comfortable in the hand as well, because this is actually a taller device. And with the A51, you got Gorilla Glass 3 on the front, and you got a plastic frame. Okay, so the only phone here that has an aluminum frame and Gorilla Glass is the Poco X3. And it has Gorilla Glass 5 with an aluminum frame. Okay. Next thing, you have this display quality. Now, with the A51, you got a 6.5-inch 1080p Super AMOLED Infinity O display with a pixel density of 405 and a screen-to-body ratio of 87%. With the Poco X3, you're getting a 1080p IPS LCD display with 395 pixels per square inch and a 91% screen-to-body ratio. And with the Blu G90 Pro, you have 1080p IPS LCD display with 396 pixels per square inch and an 83% screen-to-body ratio. Now, you may ask what display is the best, has the best quality overall? And for me, it's the A51 because it has a Super AMOLED display. These two don't have bad displays. Don't get me wrong, they're not. But I don't like IPS LCD displays. They're not as bright. They're not as vibrant. And the blacks are not, deep black like they are on AMOLED or OLED displays. So this by far has the best display. I'll say again, these two do not have bad displays at all. They have very nice displays. But this display is much brighter, more vibrant, punchy colors. The blacks are deep black. All right. And it's just a better looking overall display by far. It just is. Okay. But for those of you that really don't care that much about display, these two are going to be more than adequate. More than adequate. IPS LCD displays have come a long way. They're not as bad as they used to be. But I prefer AMOLED or either OLED. Next thing, let's talk about performance. Now, all 3D devices right now are still on Android 10. But first, the Poco X3, using the Qualcomm Snapdragon 732 with the Adreno 618 GPUs running MIUI skin on top. Now, the performance from the X3 is good. It's nice. Not the best, but it's nice. It's adequate. It's snappy. The animations are not quite as smooth as I would like, but it's definitely a snappy device. It's not slow by any means. Now with the Blu G90, you're using a MediaTek Helio G902. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, this surprised me about this phone is that the speed of this phone is really, really impressive, and the animations are really nice and smooth. So if you're concerned about performance with this phone, don't be. Not at all. Fast and nice and smooth animations. With the Galaxy A51, now we run into a problem. This phone is really laggy. I just gotta admit it. It just is. I wanted to like this phone, but it's way too laggy for me. I tried, went in developer options and put it down to 0.5. It was fast and laggy. So before it was slow and laggy, and it's fast and laggy. So the performance is just not that good for me. Now, some people, that lag may not bother them, or maybe I got a bad unit. I don't know, but the phone is laggy, and I can't stand lag. Like, I've gotten so used to phones being fast, snappy, and smooth. I can't deal with a phone that's laggy. I just can't do it. And the performance on the A51 is just not good. It's just not. I'm sorry. All right. Oh, I forgot to mention, the A51 is using the Exynos 9611, and it's running Samsung's One UI 2.5. Now, that's kind of what surprises me about this device, is that it's running Samsung's latest One UI, and the phone is laggy. I don't understand that. That don't make sense to me, but it just is. At least my unit is. Okay? All right, next thing. Now I'll just say this, as far as performance, which one of these phones has the best performance? It will be the Blu G90 Pro. RAM. Poco X3 has 6 gigs of RAM, and not only just 6 gigs of RAM, it has LPDDR4 RAM. Okay, so it has the type of RAM that makes the overall energy, makes the phone more energy efficient. Sorry, excuse me. Now with the Blu G90 Pro, you have 4 gigs of RAM. Now for me, that's not enough RAM. I wish it had at least 6, because 6 to me is like the sweet spot. But for some of you out there, you know, the average consumer, 4 gigs is enough and you don't really care. And with the Samsung, you're getting 6 gigs of RAM. So I prefer the 6 gigs of RAM on the A51, and the RAM management on the A51, even though it's laggy, is very good. Okay, RAM management on the Poco X3, it's okay. It's not as good as the Galaxy. So RAM management goes to the A51. All right, let's talk about battery capacity, battery life, battery charging speeds. Now with the Poco X3, you're getting a 5,160 milliamp battery that features 33 watt super fast charging. I'll say that again. The Poco X3 has a 5,160 milliamp battery that features 33 watt super fast charging. So this phone charges crazy fast. And as far as the battery life, you're going to get 2 full days. Always depend on how you use your phone, but even medium to heavy usage for me, 2 full days without a problem. All right. With the Blu G90 Pro, you're getting a 5,100 milliamp battery that features 18 watt fast charging. Now you're going to get 2 days of battery life out of this too, with medium to heavy usage. If you're a light user, you can get 3 days out of both these phones easily. But medium to heavy, you're going to get 2 full days. Only issue I have with this one is the 18 watt fast charging is not sufficient for a battery that size. It takes literally over 3 hours to fully charge this phone. That's just too slow. For a battery that size, you need at least 25 watt charger at minimum. That's the only issue I have with this phone. It takes a really long time to fully charge it. All right. Other than that, you're going to get great battery life out of the Blu G90 Pro. With the A51, you're getting a 4,000 milliamp battery that features 15 watt fast charging. Also, the charging speeds on this is slow as well. Not as slow because this battery is not quite as big, but it's still slow. It should have faster charging speeds. And you're also, with this, you're not going to get 2 days unless you're a light user. It does have great battery life, but you'll get like a day and a half. So these are the two best when it comes far as battery is concerned. Like 2 days for me, day and a half on this one. This one, however, charges the fastest. You could charge this battery within a little over an hour. All right. Next, speaker quality. Now, which phone has the best speaker quality? Now, for me, it's going to be the Poco X3. Why? Because it has dual stereo speakers. Okay. With the with the Blu G90, you're getting one down-firing speaker. It gets, decently loud, but the quality is not that great. And with the A51, it does get adequately loud, but the sound is not that great, and it's only one down-firing speaker. So by far, you're going to get the best speaker quality out of the Poco X3 because it has dual speakers, and they sound really good. Very loud, nice sound quality. Next thing, let's talk about storage capacity. Now, the Poco X3 comes with 128 gigs of internal storage and expandable memory up to 256 gigs of internal memory. 256 gigs of expandable memory, excuse me, y'all. So I'm very impressed with that. 128 and also 256 gigs of expandable memory. Now, the only problem I have with this, keep in mind, this is a budget phone I'm talking about. This is the same company, the Mi 10 Pro 5G, $1,000 phone, okay? I ain't pay that, but $1,000 phone, no expandable memory. And this is a far better device than this. No expandable memory. I don't understand that. Why would you give a budget phone expandable memory, but your top tier phone, you don't give it any? Makes no sense to me. With the Blu G90 Pro, you're getting 128 gigs of internal storage, expandable up to 128 gigs, so a little less, okay? With the A51, you're getting also 128 gigs of internal memory, but this is expandable up to 512 gigs. So for the most expandable memory, you got the A51 that has the most expandable storage. Now these two are evenly matched because both come with 128 gigs of internal storage. But if you need more storage, you want to go with the A51. Is 256 gigs enough for you? Then you go with the Poco X3. This one comes with the least expandable at 128 gigs of expandable memory. Number 10. All right, let's look about the headphone jack. Now, for some of us, headphone jack is important. I know it is for me. All right, I prefer a device with a headphone jack. All three of these devices come with headphone jacks. So that's not going to be a problem for you. If you're a person, excuse me, that needs a phone with a headphone jack, you're going to get that on all three devices. Next thing, the fingerprint sensor. Now with the Poco X3, you have the fingerprint sensor on the side, and the power button is built into the, you got the power button, the fingerprint sensor built into the power button. It is 100% accurate and it is super fast. With the Blu G90 Pro, you got the fingerprint sensor on the rear, 100% accurate and it's fast. With the Samsung Galaxy A51, you got an in-display fingerprint sensor that is slow and laggy. Don't like it at all. It's bad. It's really bad. Okay, you're not going to want to use it. That's my experience. All right. Next thing, face unlock. All three of these devices has face unlock. Okay. All budget devices, all face unlock. This is why I don't understand LG's last 2 or 3 devices, their top tier devices, no face unlock. I don't get that, because that's something they used to always have. But I digress. You're getting face unlock on all three of the devices. Which one's the fastest? It's going to be between the Poco and the Blu G90. But for some reason, I think the Blu G90 is just a little bit faster when it comes to the face unlock. But keep in mind, both of these phones, the Poco X3 and the Blu G90, are 100% accurate when it comes to the face unlock. With the A51, the face unlock is not that accurate and it's slow, just like the fingerprint sensor. So you got a slow, laggy fingerprint sensor, and you have an inaccurate and slow face unlock on the A51. I'm just keeping it real, y'all. That's my experience. Refresh rate. Now, the Poco X3 has 120 hertz refresh rate. Now, for some of you out there, the average person that's looking for a budget device, you don't care about refresh rate. You probably don't even know what it is. But it does add an extra layer of smoothness to your device, to the software, the animations, the screen just looks better. The scrolling speeds are much faster. So for some people it does matter. Now I do like it. Now the 120 hertz on here is not as good as the 120 hertz on my my Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. So the 120 hertz and 120 hertz on my Ultra, they're not created equal. This is still good, don't get me wrong, but it's not as good as my S20 Ultra. So numbers is not everything, y'all. Of course, with the Blu G90, you're getting 60 hertz, which is the norm. And A51, you're getting 60 hertz, which is the norm. But which one has the smoothest animations, the smoothness to the software? And y'all gonna be surprised at this. It's gonna be the Blu G90 Pro. This thing is really, really fast and really, really smooth. I'm not saying the Poco X3 is not smooth, but this actually has a smoothness to it that is better, in my opinion, than the Poco X3. So for speed and smoothness, that's the Blu G90 Pro. Let's talk about wireless charging. Now, just to keep this quick, there's only one phone that has wireless charging, and that's the Blu G90. You're not getting no wireless charging on the Poco X3. You're not getting any wireless charging on the A51. Why? I don't know. It should have it on there, whether it's slow or not. I prefer a phone with wireless charging, but if you're the average consumer, you don't care, then it doesn't matter to you. But those that do care and like wireless charging, you want the Blu G90 Pro. Not the fastest, but it's there. It's the kind of wireless charging. Basically, it's slow, like 5 watts, but you put it on your charger overnight, charge your phone. By the morning, it'll be fully charged. Okay, and also charging your phone slower degrades the battery less. So think about that. Next thing, always on display. Poco X3, no always on display. Blu G90, no always on display. A51, you're definitely getting always on display. Hold on a second. Had this off. Phone must have reset itself. Sorry about that. Alright, should pop up. See, I've been having some issues with this phone. Now it's acting crazy. That's what I mean. This phone has some software issues. Alright, so now for some reason the always on display is not coming on, and I had it to be on all the time, but it does have it. Okay? I don't know what the issue is right now, but it does have it. See, no match. See how slow that fingerprint sensor is? Look at that, no match twice. It's ridiculous. That's crazy slow. There's no excuse for that. No excuse whatsoever. And I don't know why the always on display is not on, because there it is finally. Like, the phone is just super slow and laggy. I don't know what it is. Like I said, it could be just, this unit could be bad. If nobody else out there is having an issue with it, then more power to you. Here's the always on display. This is something I need on all of my devices and what I prefer. You can see your fingerprint sensor. You can see the time, the date, the day, the battery percentage, and you get your notifications at the bottom. So this is the only one that has the always on display, if that's something you need on your device. And it's fully functional. Next thing, you got the LED notification sensor. I don't know if I can show you that on here. If I got a notification, let me see. No, it's not blinking, but this one does have one. It's way up underneath here, and it'll blink if you get a notification, so that's cool. I like that. So this is the only phone that has a LED notification sensor. For those of you that prefer a phone with an LED notification, especially it's important for this phone because it doesn't have an always on display. With the always on display, you don't have to worry about it because you can see everything on the always on display. With this, you're not going to even know if you get a notification because the screen doesn't light up. But your LED notification sensor does blink underneath where you'll be able to see it if it does. All right, next, let's talk about the IR blaster. Now, what is the IR blaster? It is a universal remote control. Basically, with that, you'll be able to control your TV, your air conditioner, anything that has an infrared signal on it. That's what the Poco X3 has. The Poco X3 has a universal remote control. I like that, and it comes in convenient. Say, if you're a person that, goes and travels a lot, even though you might not be traveling a lot now because of the pandemic. But if you're a person that needs to travel a lot and you go into a hotel room, you don't want to touch the remote controller, you already have it built into your phone. All you got to do is use it, set it up, and you'll be able to use it right on the phone, on the TV that's in that room. So, and I like it also if you're in a home with a bunch of kids and they're always misplacing the remote control, you're with a spouse that keeps misplacing the remote control, not a problem. You have it built into your phone, and just use it at your leisure. These other two devices don't have a built-in IR blaster. Excuse me. Next thing, HDR10. The Poco X3 does have HDR10, okay? No HDR10 on the Blu G90 Pro, and no HDR10 on the A51. So you're going to get a better overall display on the Poco X3. Next thing, water protection. With the Poco X3, you're getting IP53 splash proof protection. On the Blu G90 Pro, you're not getting any water protection whatsoever. And on the A51, you're not getting any water protection whatsoever. So when it comes to water protection and you care about something like that, you want the Poco X3, you're getting IP53 splash proof protection. Next thing, headphones. With the Poco X3, you get no headphones in the box. With the Blu G90 Pro, you do get headphones in the box. And with the Samsung Galaxy A51, you're getting headphones in the box. Now, I know that doesn't matter to everybody, but for me, When it's about me spending my money and I want value, I want my headphones in the box. I really do. And the Poco XG has great 24-bit audio sound, and it's a shame, and the headphone jack. So I don't understand why they couldn't just throw a pair of headphones in the box. I don't understand that. And these two definitely gives you a pair of headphones, and they sound decent. Okay, keep that in mind if you care about that. Next thing, case in the box. All three phones come with a case in the box. I have the cases that came with them on the device, but as you can see, the best case that came with any of these phones, in my opinion, is the Blu G90 Pro. Now, it does add an extra layer of bulkiness to the phone, but it's a really nice case. I mean, I've never seen a case this nice come with the phone, not to me. Not that I've had. Usually you always just get a regular clear case on average, but they actually gave you a really nice case, and I got to give the Blu company a lot of respect for that. I respect that. That's beautiful. Other top tier devices, especially the flagship devices, don't give you nowhere near a case that look like that. Most don't even give you a case at all. Okay, S20 Ultra, no case. Note 10 Plus, no case. Note 20 Ultra 5G, no case. I don't understand it. All those phones are over $1,000, no case. But a $200 device can give you a case. I don't get it, y'all. Y'all help me understand that. Next thing, cameras. Now, when it comes to cameras, now this is subjective because photos and all this stuff looks different to everybody. Everybody's different when it comes to photo. What photos look like to them and what do they deem this camera better than that camera. It's all subjective and it's based on their opinion. Okay. Now with the Poco X3, you're getting 4 cameras. You're getting a 64 megapixel main camera, a 13 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro, 2 megapixel depth sensor, and a 20 megapixel selfie camera. Now keep in mind, you can shoot at 4K at 30 frames per second, and you can shoot at 1080p at 30 frames per second on the front, on the rear. But on the front, you can only shoot 1080p at 30. No 4K at 60 frames per second on the front or the rear on this device, Poco X3. All right. Now with the Blu G90, you got 4 cameras on the rear as well. You're getting a 48 megapixel wide. You're getting an 8 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro, 2 megapixel depth sensor, 32 megapixel front facing camera. No 60 frames at 4K on the front or the rear, but you can shoot at 1080p at 30 frames on the front and the rear. All right. Next, with the A51, you got 4 cameras also on the rear. 48 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel ultra wide, 5 megapixel macro, 5 megapixel depth sensor, and a 32 megapixel wide front facing camera. Once again, no 4K at 60 frames on the front or the rear, but you can shoot at 1080p at 30 frames per second on the front and the rear. Now, for me, which one of these out of these 3 phones, which one gave me the best photo and video experience? I'm gonna have to say the Poco X3. The night photos are great, day photos are great, and the video footage is really nice and clear. Then I would say the Samsung, and then the Blu G90. Now you're gonna get nice pictures with all 3, but I found that the Poco X3 gave me the best photos and videos. Next thing, NFC. The Poco X3 has NFC, the Blu G90 has NFC, and the A51 has NFC. So all 3 phones have NFC, so you'll be able to use your phone to make, transactions and things like that, go to the store. But keep in mind, you're dealing with Android Pay with these 2. With the A51, you're dealing with Samsung Pay. So Samsung Pay is accepted everywhere. This is going to have the best payment option out there. Now, that's my comparison. Now, which one that I would pick overall between these 3 is kind of, this, I can already tell you right now, the A51 is out because it's super laggy and I can't deal with it. It does have a nice form factor because it's, it's really easy to hold in the hand. It's tall, but it's not real wide and big and bulky. And there's some people that like smaller devices. This is the smallest device out of the 3. So for those people that prefer a device that's not that big and more one-handed friendly, you want the A51. With the Blu G90, I'm very impressed with this phone. I love the design. The battery life is great. Takes very nice photos. It runs very fast and very smooth. And I like this device, okay? But with the Poco X3, you're just getting more bang for your buck. You know, those dual stereo speakers matter to me. The bigger display, you're getting 91% screen to body ratio. The cameras are better on here. You're getting 120 hertz refresh rate, and you're getting an IR blaster, and you're getting the largest battery out of the three. So for me, I'm going with the Poco X3. Not that it's head and shoulders above these other two phones, but I just feel like you're getting more bang for your buck with this particular device. And number two, I would definitely take the Blu G90, and I would take the A51 last. But to be honest with you, because it's so laggy, I wouldn't take this at all. I would not buy this because, like I said, the overall software experience is very poor, and you got a very slow, inaccurate fingerprint sensor and a very slow and inaccurate face unlock. Okay, I don't like that. But if you don't have a unit that's having those issues, you don't have the lag, you're not getting all the issues I'm having, then I say this is a great buy for you if you prefer Samsung One UI, and their brand. But for me, I got to go with the Poco X3. It's just, to me, you're getting more bang for your buck. You're getting a bigger device. You're getting a bigger battery, getting a great display, great cameras. You got the headphone jack, dual stereo speakers, IR blaster. You're just gonna get more bang for your buck with this device, okay? And also, you get the little pinhole at the top when it comes to the display, as opposed to the let me show you the Blu G90. See, I don't like that. I don't like that. And you're getting a much more bezel around the sides and the bottom. You're basically not getting any bezels on this phone at all. So the screen to body ratio is so much better. If you prefer a bigger device with more display, then you definitely want the Poco X3. You're getting way more display, okay? And you're getting a better display. Now, both these displays are nice, but you're not getting this little teardrop notch. Now, for those of you that don't bother you, then go with the Blu G90. Like I said, there's cons and pros to both of these devices. But for me, I would go with the Poco. All right? So thank you very much for taking the time to view this content. I do appreciate you. Thank you for your patience. And I hope you guys are staying safe out there. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.